We'll call to order tonight's regular meeting for the Water Pollution Control Authority via virtual Zoom meeting Thursday, February 25th at 6 p.m. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance of the
United
States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
with liberty
indivisible,
and
with
justice
liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for attending tonight, wherever you may be. Ann, would you please take the roll?
You ready,
Or
John?
Marilyn, you want to take roll, Marilyn?
Yeah, I'll do the roll. Thank you. Mr. Parati,
Present.
Mr. Carroll,
Here.
Mr. Beach, Mr. Abugard, not here. Mr. Skinnell,
Here.
Mr. Urbano,
Here.
Mr. Welburn. He's not here, right? Okay.
Nope.
You do have a quorum, John.
Thank you very much. All right, well, tonight we'll start. There are a couple things on the item here, so we'll start if there's any, we don't have any public communications that I see at that time. Is there anything else that anybody would have from a public communication perspective? No? Okay, we'll move right on to applications. There's two applications on the docket, Malpractice Brewing and Dana and Stephen Todd. First one, we'll start with Malpractice Brewing. Everybody has the application in the packet. It's the Urbano site. And before, why don't the applicant give us a overview, and then you can give an executive summary, Dennis can, of any engineering issues that he's seen.
Sure. So Malpractice Brewing plans to move into the 830 South Main Street site. We're going to be putting together a small craft brewery similar to what Cheshire Craft and Counterweight will be putting in, except our operation will be considerably smaller than Counterweight and even smaller than Cheshire Craft. Our goal right now is to utilize the lateral that's coming off of the main that's actually currently connected to the building, although I don't know what the status of that lateral is, which will be something we're going to be checking on. The usage of the sewer will be daily sanitary use, whether it's by brewery staff on brew days and patrons on taproom days. Taproom will only be open and available on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at this point. This is something that we may end up changing, but initially, since this will be a second position for myself, we're going to operate under limited time availability. The calculations in terms of what we were trying to figure out for our discharge was all done according to Brewers Association average recommendations for something of our capacity. We did find out that the smaller breweries actually have the largest discharge or the lowest efficiency when it comes to discharge. So we did try to overestimate, and it's been in my experience too, based on where I've been interning, that we're going to do everything we possibly can to repurpose what we're putting through the system, so that we're not putting as much down the sewers, if at all possible. At this point, we're planning on operating what we call a 3-barrel brew house. A barrel, just to put things in perspective, is around 31.5 gallons. And the calculations that we used basically take into account the amount of barrels that are required to make 1 barrel. I won't run through all the calculations. You guys have that in front of you, but we're planning on for the amount of space and the amount of volume to produce, we're estimating around 320, we'll say, gallons per day, and that's including the daily patron, which we also estimated at around 2 gallons per person per day. Some stuff has changed at this point. We were quoted about 1,800 square feet. We actually are now about 2,004 square feet, but I don't think that'll have a bearing on the amount of discharge that we'll be producing. And definitely, if needed, and for our final application, we'll be providing the exact numbers or chemical makeup of any products that we'll be using, such as the caustics and acids for cleaning, as well as any particulates that we'll be putting down the drain.
right, well, I think Dennis, why don't you give your executive summary on this, and then we'll open it up to questions from any of the authority members. I just have a comment or two also.
Sure. Yeah. Kyle
Thanks,
summed
Ben.
it up, hit all the points pretty well. It's
Yep.
an existing sewer service connection. The only thing is we don't really know where it is or what size it is or what the condition is. So, the application for feasibility is acceptable in my mind, with just the two caveats of televising that lateral, and then again providing the information on whatever constituents are going to be put down the drain.
One comment that I have to make is, in our sewer regulations, there is one of the items prohibited from discharge to sewer is any type of a residual waste hop material. So I think when you come for the final design, we'll be looking pretty closely at how are you capturing our residual hops so that they don't make their way into our sewer system, along with also any of the other caustics or other types of materials in there. Scott, any issues with the particulates and things like that that you've heard from other?
We would just have to see what they're discharging. They'd have to give us a sample or something, and we would go from there.
All right.
I don't see any problem with feasibility.
Right. Yeah. Kyle, anything more in that, or?
So just my question about hop particulate and things like that. I mean, in terms of the amount going down, or is it just the condition that it's going down in? I know that hops are a natural antibacterial, so that causes issues with pH and normal flora in the system. Is this what you've experienced with Cheshire Craft and Counterweight, putting together like a filtration of some sort?
Yeah, there's at this point there is nobody actually producing, and that is going into the Cheshire system. So you're the third brewery that's come forward, but the existing sewer regulations do prohibit any type of a hop material. Now, obviously, how can you control dust and water, things like that? But I think, we're looking for mass of hop to be removed, and I understand most places look to take those out. They're recycled feedstock or other types of things too. So,
John, we're not picking you up very clearly. Are you having a problem, Ann? With John's?
Sherry, do you mind going on mute? I think we're getting feedback from you.
Sorry.
Could be.
I think that was it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I was just basically talking about the hop material that we need to make sure that that's captured for our actual sewer regulations. And then Scott Hallier had, augmented that to say that he'd like to get a sample also before, the final design. And any other questions from the participants of the WPCA? Is that Dana? Dana, can you go on mute, please? The Cobbs, would you be able to go on mute? Thank you. We're getting feedback. Any other questions from authority members? Well, yeah, Steve, you got one?
Do we know how long that lateral has been inactive? No.
No, I can speak to the property owner to find out how long. I mean, it's active in the sense that there is a restroom connected to it that's used periodically, but not for what it was initially put in place for,
Okay.
which is, I guess, for cooling water.
Dennis, should we get it, camera just to check?
Yes, yeah, that's correct. That was recommended. Yep.
I think that's really,
yeah. So that's hopefully going to give us a, condition.
John, can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we're here.
So we're in discussion, just talking about the hop material. Does that go for, let's say, spent grain hulls too? We won't, we don't plan on putting straight mash down the which is grain and water. We don't plan on putting that thick mixture down the drain, but sometimes spent grain hulls do find their way into that. Is that an issue, or is it just exclusively hop material?
Scott, what you opine on that?
What we'd have to do is see the amount of solids. You might just have to put in some sort of a screening device before it goes into the actual sewer, just to capture anything that comes through.
Kyle, just for your benefit, you are the third brewery to come forward. And, through some research, John discovered, that our current regulations prohibit certain materials, particulates, from entering the sewer system. That may need some more definition, okay? Right now, to me, it seems very gray. And so what we've asked everybody to do is to say, hey, look, you're going to be responsible for screening as much of it as reasonable, without putting a large burden on you. But we're going to be learning as we go a little bit here along with you. So
I totally understand that. Yeah.
We would like to see some type of an
and I
effort
think
to capture those particulates.
Yep.
Okay. It seems pretty, well, from my perspective, actually pretty exciting. Third brewery coming to Cheshire all of a sudden, and those of us who enjoy that type of thing.
Yeah, be able to hold
Yeah.
a new meeting venue.
Right. So I'll take a motion to approve feasibility.
Is there a
I
motion?
will make a motion to approve the application for feasibility approval for the Malpractice Brewery LLC located at 830 South Main Street.
Second.
Seconded by Tom. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Vote passes unanimously by all those virtually present. Val, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. It was a pleasure meeting you. Have a good night.
Okay.
You too.
All right. So I think, as Steve was saying, this is our third brewery. We're, going through the process. We're, going to be obviously learning a little bit more about these things as we move along. And Scott, if there's any method that you could reach out to other superintendents, maybe with breweries, to look for any type of experience they may have with challenges, things like that. We would like to get some feedback on that and see, what the experience is.
Yeah, I was going to say Scott or Dennis, if you've got any experience in other municipalities that you can share, that would be helpful.
Okay, I'll make some calls.
Dennis, the other organizations that you represent, maybe it would be interesting just in their sewer regulations. It'd be interesting for us to know if they're called out specifically hops like there are in ours, which I thought was interesting. I don't know why,
I've never seen it, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Yeah. So, okay. All right, so let's move on. Marilyn, can you hear me okay still?
Yes, I can hear you fine now, John, because a couple of people have clicked off, so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the second application, we have Dana and Stephen Cobb, 1369 Cheshire Street. We have the agent, Sherry, you're the agent representative here, and the homeowners too. So, everybody should have read the application. Dennis, I think, why don't you just give us the executive summary, because there's some information on here, and then we'll talk about this, how we want to proceed. Okay.
Sure. So this application is for a home at 1369 Cheshire Street. It was for sale. They were scheduled to close in January of 2021. What is preventing the closing from occurring is the home actually was connected to the Cheshire sewer system in 1987, and the septic tank was abandoned, and documentation of the installation of that lateral and the abandonment of the septic tank was provided in the package. But the town has no record of this connection being made. So long story short, the lateral was televised. It was professionally installed. There's a clean out appropriate in an appropriate location, and the connection to the main is proper. So again, it was televised and dye tested January of 2021. And they're seeking for the WPCA to recognize this connection so they can
Thank you
sell
very
the
much,
home. Yep.
Dennis. So the WPCA, has this in front of us. It's basically a new application of a sewer that meets all of our requirements right now. So what my opinion on this is we need to formalize the process so that the sewer does get recognized, put into the drawings, gets on the process where the homeowners will then, start to pay. So we have the feasibility in front of us. We never do this, but is there the possibility that we can do the feasibility and award of capacity in one step? Steve, what's your opinion on that?
I don't see any problem doing that at all. I mean, we can do both. I mean,
Yeah,
can
because
do-
it's a historic,
yeah, a single omnibus motion to approve the feasibility and final design is fine.
Yeah. Any other comments from the WPCA members present?
The only comment I have is, we will be getting paid from what point in time?
Today.
Today? Okay, so past sins are forgiven? There's no,
Well-
There's been multiple owners and transaction history of this. So, Steve, yes?
Yeah,
You have a
you know what
dog that
I was
wants to
gonna,
talk?
what I was gonna say was, you say past sins, we don't know who committed them. The real estate market in Cheshire in the 70s and 80s was kind of the Wild West. I'm not sure if we even documented, if this connection were documented back then or not documented, but if it were, we probably wouldn't have it.
You're cutting out, Steve. You are frozen right now. Okay, you're back.
Oh, okay. So my feeling is, let's correct the wrong. I got a message that says my internet is unstable.
sure. it's the internet?
Correct what's wrong here and move forward with it.
Okay, all right.
Tom, I know you want to say that he's not stable, but it's his internet that's not stable.
I figured that was coming from somebody.
I got in first.
Not to hear that.
So Jimmy, Jason, anything from your side?
I know where Tom's coming from, and I know, I think we just got to do the right thing. It doesn't, we can't go look in the past and try to sort this thing out. And I agree with you, John. Let's just move forward.
Agreed. I don't have anything else to add.
And we don't, again, I don't think there's any malice here. And the reason being is we have the agent has come to us proactively, to help us in the process. So I appreciate that very much. So I think I'm going to make a motion to approve the application of feasibility and the award of capacity for Dana and Steve Cobb at 1369 Cheshire Street, Cheshire, Connecticut, for it to be recognized, for the map to be updated to show it as a sewered property. Anything else? I think that's it. So, anybody want to second that? Steve, you're on mute.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Vote passes unanimously by all those virtually present. So thank you very much, Sherry and the Cobbs, for attending. Hopefully, it's one less thing you have to worry about now.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No problem. Okay, next on the agenda is our projects, which we have 0. Superintendent's report. Scott, it's good to see you. Can you give us a quick update?
You guys
on,
too. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Everything's going very well at the plant. Numbers are good. Bugs are good. We're actually a little bit below our general winter average. We're running about 2.9 million. Usually at this time of year, we're a little about 3.1, 3.2. So things are running really well. The only thing I did want to mention was that I was in some discussions with our finance director today, and we have some money left over from the West Johnson pump station rehab project. So in discussing with him, I'm actually in the process of looking at purchasing a bypass pump for that station. During the construction of the station, we put in a bypass piping system. So if there was a problem with the station, we could do it. With a little bit of extra money that we have left over, I'd like to purchase a bypass pump in the event something were to go wrong over there.
And would that bypass pump be able to be used at other sites? Is it a portable thing, or is this?
Yes,
okay.
it would be. It would be able to be used at other sites. And I'm getting some initial costs and stuff, and we're probably going to be around the $65,000 to $75,000 range. So I can get some more details and give you some further information as I get closer to going from that. I just want to make sure you guys are okay with that.
How much money was left over from West Johnson?
What's that?
How much money was available from West Johnson?
Just over $1 million.
Oh.
You need some, Tom?
That doesn't mean you have $1 million to spend, Tom.
No, and I understand. But we could easily, factor this bypass pump in, which would benefit not only the West Johnson station, but some of the other sites also.
Well, that would be my opinion is that, if we're purchasing an asset like that, that we would want to make sure that we're able to use it at other pump stations for, that reason. Dennis, do you know from your perspective, from the design, are you looking at those type of portable systems?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, it's the way to go. You can't rely on these bypass companies to get to you in time. So, yeah.
And this would be just like a diesel-driven pump, or
it would be a diesel-driven pump. I'm looking at 6-inch pumps, which we could reduce down to 4-inch for some of our smaller stations. I want to get obviously as much capacity as we can out of it, and we could use it also here at the plant.
Yeah,
I think Jason can use it to fill up his rink. Yeah, please come back. I guess, any other comments from the authority members? I just would like to see some more details on this, and, that way.
Yeah, I just had a conversation with Jim Jascott, our finance director, on Tuesday, and we were discussing this. So I figured I would broach it to you guys at the meeting tonight and say, okay, this is where I'm in the direction I'm going, as long as you guys are okay with it.
So Jim is okay with allocating some of the unused money towards this, for this purpose?
Of course he's not, because he doesn't like to spend any money.
I mean, he doesn't have to go to bond council or anything like that?
No,
okay.
that money's already been bonded.
The decision can be made internally is I guess what we need.
Correct.
Okay, good.
We're not gonna step on any toes. Okay.
Correct. And I did discuss it with Jim, so.
And if it doesn't go forward, Tom can fund it personally. No problem. All right, anything else? Scott?
That would be all.
Okay, the super cold that we've had earlier on in the year. Any issues with
Fortunately, we did not.
Performance?
No, the cold didn't affect us because we didn't have the cold rain along with the cold weather.
Crazy.
We had snow instead. If we had the cold rain coupled with the cold weather, it would have had a worse effect on us. The plant in Southington, they did get affected with the cold and the snow melt, and we actually just donated some of our microorganisms to them to get them restarted and running again.
Oh, really? They have to go back and get activated sludge?
Yes.
Oh, they had real problems.
So,
Well, we've done that. We've done that in a bunch of historical times. We did that with Fairfield. We've done it now with Sulington.
yes, and we actually took bugs from Meriden at one point for here, a
When
bunch
we
of years
restarted
back.
the digesters.
Yeah, well, restarted the aerations.
All right, good.
So
Thank you.
we're good. You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Scott. Engineering report. So on the docket is the update on the engineering review process. So I had asked Dennis if he could just give us a, how the process is working. What can we do to maybe fine tune any of this? Should we? And if he could present this to the authority members, we can then establish, fine tune or just keep going and, give us your info and then we'll be able to give you feedback.
Yeah, so I mean, the first few months there was a little bit of growing pains, and I wasn't always quite sure who I was supposed to be talking to and whatnot. But we've got a pretty good system going now with Don. I mean, I talk to Don regularly, a couple of times a week.
And that's Don Nolte, our engineer.
Don Nolte, I'm sorry. And we've had, not always. I guess the tricky part is it's not always WPCA related. So that's where just separating the two is really what I need to work on. But in general, as you have laid out here, Don receives the application. He then sends it to Scott and myself. If we need to talk, Scott and I talk. If not, we just send our comments separately. Or Scott sends me his comments. I incorporate it into my memo. The memo is submitted to Don. And then he reviews it. I update it, and then it gets posted into the packet. But I guess one additional step will be to send the memos to the WPCA prior to the meeting. Is that one thing we wanted to do, John?
I just thought that maybe we wanted to just see them briefly. Why don't we just send them to myself and Steve, and one of us be able to just kind of scrub it if need be. Not that we're looking to,
Okay.
But I think we would have the ability to have that fall under communications. I don't believe there's anything incorrect about that. Do you, Steve?
No, I don't see a problem with that. I mean, again, that's part of as Dennis said, as part of a new process, we're all feeling each other out here. And maybe 6 months from now, we
don't
do
need
away
it.
with it. But for now, let's.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it would be good to send it. Just you folks would look at it in a different way than the way that Don looks at it. So I think it would be good. And the memos are never more than a page, so it takes a couple of minutes to read it. So.
Well within our attention span.
Yeah. The only other thing that's been going on is, I've been attending a lot of meetings with Don and Dan Bombardier, is it?
Barrow.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. Regarding Stonebridge. So nothing really
You
to bring
tracking
up.
that time
What's that?
separately? Or is that a separate task you started, or you just put it under the general billing task?
Yeah, I mean, I when I send my invoice to Don, I provide him with a breakdown of what the time was spent on, and then I guess he does whatever he does with that. So.
But I would, I would expect a large application to have much more of a time on our engineering expertise to than something that, we just had 2 applications tonight. So I understand that.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be more coming on that too, as the process.
Yep.
My opinion, I'm pleased. I think it's going well. Dennis, you said that you had a couple things that starting to learn and work out, and we fully expected that, but you've been doing a great job. The information's clear, it's on time. You're showing up to the meetings.
Yeah, I need to. I guess it's really important though that I do consult with Scott. So I need to make sure that I always do that. I mean, I have been getting better at it, but
it's been working out okay.
Yeah, no, we're good. He tells me what to do, and then I write it in the memo. So
thanks, Scott. And we appreciate and that's and So, and usually when you have problems or anything, it always becomes from a lack of communication. So
Yes. Yep.
the more we communicate, and it's easier. So, any authority members have any other comments, questions on this?
Seems like it's going pretty smoothly from my perspective as well. Yeah, nice transition. Worked out nicely.
Good. All right. So, nothing else. We'll move on to item number 8. I don't have any other new business. Does any of the other members have any new business to discuss? Be added? Hearing nothing, we'll go on to old business. Old business is quiet. We can move to item number 10, the approval of the meeting minutes from the last meeting. We have those minutes in the packet. We can take a motion to approve them, and then we can see if there's any edits that need to be made.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the meetings from January 28th, 2021.
Minutes.
The minutes
Yeah,
meeting.
seconded by?
Second.
Second by Jason. Okay, are there any edits to the minutes? I'm sorry. Hearing none. Approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting passes unanimously. All right, guys. 6:32. Anybody have any other comments or anything they want to talk about?
Is that a record?
No.
No.
We
Not
had
even close.
we had an 18-minute one time, and we've done better.
When it wasn't being filmed.
Was it when we were all together closely? I think it might have been a holiday one.
I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
Tom, thank you very much.
I second that.
Seconded by James.
Jim. Yep.
By Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your time today, and we will see you next meeting. Next one is virtual also, right, Marilyn?
Yes, it is. We're
It
virtual.
is.
Further notice.
Till further notice.
Till further notice, right.
Stay safe, everyone.
That information, right, Ann? She'll be the first.
I'm thinking, I don't know.
May?
I'm thinking May, June.
May.